Welcome to today's daily lesson. This time we are going to be talking a little bit more about how we are going to turn leads into customers. Not the how to, but how to diagnose your current funnel. If you have a funnel, or if you look at it in terms of a funnel, because it very much is so, with different steps in that funnel, each one of them leading closer and closer to turning a lead into a new customer, right? And so I brought out the handy dandy whiteboard to kind of walk us through this today. And we're going to talk about this in terms of both paid acquisition, so like running Facebook ads or running YouTube ads or running Google, My Business ads, whatever you're running, or organic, right? You can do it organically, and maybe some of the names or the terms will change a little bit, but the idea and the premise is the same, right? What we are trying to do is we are trying to convert an audience, whether it's a paid audience or a free audience, to paying customers, right? And in that process, there are definitive steps that the journey of the lead that they'll go through, right? And each one of those can be optimized to increase your probability that the leads turn into clients, right? And so let's get started. All right, so at the top of the funnel, we have leads, right? Now let's talk about this in terms of paid customers, okay? Or I'm sorry, paid traffic, right? And so when you are paying, you're advertising, right? You're paying for the audience, right? You're paying for the eyeballs. You're paying for to put your content, whatever it may be, in front of the audience on the platform that you're on, right? So as an example, the first part would be clicks. Okay, I'm going to use a different color for this so we can make it pop out a little bit. So clicks. Okay, that's the very top of the funnel, guys. Like, how many people are attracted to your offer? Now, if you've identified that you have a problem there, right, then how do we fix it? Well, you're just not getting enough engagement, right? You're not getting enough clicks. So, and we'll talk about how you diagnose this, because sometimes gym owners or business owners in general are diagnosing their problem incorrectly. Okay, so as an example, you could update your copy, you could update your creative. So copy is like the wording that somebody's reading about whatever it is you're advertising. The creative is the image or the video that they are showing you along with that copy, right? And then there's a couple sub categories that are important as well, like headline, right? What is your headline that pops out to them before they click on the little like see more to read the rest of it? What is that headline? What is your offer? Okay, do you have an attractive offer? Do you have something that is making them want to read more, right? Or is it kind of boring, right? All of these things can be optimized. There are best practices for all of these things if you are not getting enough clicks, right? And so to be able to diagnose if you're getting enough clicks or not, you simply would go into however you're tracking your metrics. And guys, it's really important to track your metrics. Otherwise, you have no way of diagnosing this. But see what is your cost per click, right? And if it's very high, right? If it's above $1, $2, $3, depending on what you're selling, it may not matter how many get to the next step, because it's too expensive to get the clicks that would ultimately get to the bottom of the funnel and turn into customers, right? So you need to optimize or adjust those things that we talked about: headline, copy, creative, offer, and even placement and targeting, right? Who are you targeting? Are you targeting the wrong people, the right people, the audience that you are going after? Is it close to your brick and mortar gym? Is it not a brick and mortar and you're targeting the whole nation? What parameters are you using? All of that stuff, guys, will impact your clicks. Okay, all of it. But let's say you don't have a clicks problem. Let's go to the next step of the funnel, and this is opt-ins. Opt-ins. Okay, so people have clicked on your stuff. They're like, oh my God, this looks amazing. I totally want to do this. Click on it, and then they get to your landing page or wherever it leads. It could be a Facebook lead form. It could be whatever, right? They get there. You're asking for their information. Typically, this is the next step, because you need to get their information so you can either schedule them, sell them something, whatever your objective is. You need to know who is taking action, right? Usually like it's a name, an email, a phone number, something like that, that they are going to be putting into a form or a data field or something that then you can contact, right? So if you get a lot of clicks, but not a lot of opt-ins, wherever you're sending them to is not very effective, right? And so I look at it as a 20% ratio. You want about 20% or higher, preferably higher would be awesome, of your clicks to actually give you their information, right? If that's not happening, then there's something going on with wherever you're sending them, and it's not connecting with the ad, right? So they saw the ad or your organic posting. This can totally be organic as well. They saw your messaging, your offer, your copy, your creative, the headline, all of that stuff. They click on it, they get to that landing page or that form, and they're like, hey, this isn't quite what I thought it was going to be. I'm out of here, right? So now 80% of them saying that is okay, because people just click on stuff all the time. We need about 20% of them or more to actually give us their information for this to make sense, right? The next step would be scheduling. Now I'm talking about this in terms of like a brick and mortar gym and people scheduling for whatever service you're promoting, right? So if it's like a no sweat intro, a 7-day trial, a 6-week challenge, a transformation program, a free class, whatever, right? Typically after we get their information, we're like, hey, come into the gym, come on in and take advantage of this offer, right? Come do the thing. And from here, we want about 50%. Okay, 50% of the people that opted in, we want them to schedule. Okay, so if that's not happening, now we can start taking a look at, well, why isn't that happening, right? And so we look at things like availability. Maybe your availability is not very good. We take a look at the outside of availability, we take a look at how many slots total you have per week where they can come in and schedule. Maybe it's not clear, and maybe the calendar like that you're using is really kind of hard to figure out, right? And it's not a very good client experience, so they just end up not scheduling, right? We take a look at quite a few different factors, but we need 50% of them to schedule to get to the total number that makes sense, and I'll tell you why at the end. Okay, the next one would be show rate. Okay, so they're showing up for their appointment. We need about 50% of them. So of the people scheduling, we need about 50% of them to show up to that appointment. Okay, so they schedule, and why would somebody not show up? Well, maybe they forgot about it and you didn't send them any reminders. Maybe there was no confirmation. They're not even sure if what they did worked correctly. Maybe they got lost. Right, and maybe you should send them your address with directions or an image of your gym, right? Maybe the availability was poor, right? So they picked something, but it wasn't like ideal for them, right? And so like, well, if I get off of work early and I drop the kids off, I can swing over to the gym and be there at 4:30, and then something gets in their way, and the first thing that's going to go is like their no sweat intro at the gym. Like life gets in the way, right? So your poor availability trickled down into show rate as well, right? There's a couple different factors that will play into show rate, but if it's below 50%, that's your bottleneck. Then we have the next step, which is close rate, close percentage, okay? And from here, we want about 50%, right? Again, it depends on your offer. It depends, I'm being general, but it depends on what you're selling and how it makes sense. So my point is that, and the close rate can be adjusted depending on how many people come in and then buy the thing that you are offering up here. Or maybe you're selling them something different. I don't recommend that. I recommend usually selling them the thing that you're offering them. But if you're not very good at sales, your close rate's not going to be very high. And the cool thing is you can work on sales. It's a skill. You can get better at it. In fact, guys, you can get better at any one of these different pipes in the funnel, right, and fix your bottleneck. So you could be clogged on any one of these and it's gonna stop the flow turning into new customers. The idea is to diagnose which one of these is stopping you from getting leads into customers, and once you fix that, it keeps flowing again. And by the time you fix each one of these and you hit these metrics, right, then you're not gonna have a client acquisition problem, right? But it's very important that you're tracking these metrics or you don't even know where to start, right? So let's do a practical exercise. Let's say that we have, 500 clicks and 20% of them are opting in, right? So then we have 100 opt-ins or 100 leads. And then 50% of them schedule, now we have 50 appointments. And then 50% of them show, now we have 25 appointments. And 50% of them close, now we have 12.5 new customers from 500 clicks. Okay, well, if the cost per click is $1, whoops, we spent $500, and let's say you're selling, I don't know, a membership that's $300 a month, right? And the average person stays for 6 months. It's $1,800, guys, right? So we're selling $1,800 an average ticket. Now I'm talking about high ticket programs. I'm not talking about your standard gym membership. I'm talking about like transformation programs times 12. Okay, times 12. Whoops. Let me fix this really quick. And you are looking at about 20K in lifetime value. Lifetime value, not like cash up front. Okay? And so now that's how you turn your ad spend dollars into a return on your investment. Okay? Now let's say you only have 10% net margins, right? Then you're only keeping $2,000 of that revenue. You're not, guys, you don't keep all $20,000 of revenue. You have to pay for things, right? But you exchange $500 for $2,000, right? And that's how you win. That's how you win in business. And again, if any of these are jammed up, you can fix them. You can fix this. You can fix this by knowing how to fix it. But first, make sure you're diagnosing it correctly. The same thing works with organic. You just typically don't get 500 clicks organically, not clicks, but in general, eyes, because it is a much smaller pool because you're only dealing with the audience that you already have influence over, right? Whereas when you're paying for advertising, you get to be in front of an audience that you don't have influence over, which allows you to tap into a bigger pool. So anyways, guys, hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this helps you when you're trying to diagnose. If you're saying to yourself, like, hey, I'm not getting enough customers, right? It's a very general and subjective thing to say. I would try to be a little bit more objective and say, hey, I'm not getting them enough customers, so let's take a look at why, and knowing the things to look at will help you diagnose it and help you fix it. Now, if you don't know how to fix these things, if you don't know what the best practices are, well, then you need to find somebody that does know what the best practices are, because it's one thing to be able to identify what your issue is. It's a different thing to be able to fix it, right? And so find somebody that knows how to get you more clicks, more opt-ins, more people to schedule, more people to show up, and how to sell, right? How to close those people into a program that makes sense. And I mean makes sense because let's say you spend $500, but you're selling people, you're closing people into a $20 a month membership, guys. The numbers don't make any sense because you're going to sell 12 people into a $20 membership. It's $240. Awesome, right? You spent $500 to do it. You lost money. It doesn't make any sense, right? So you got to make sure that the entire strategy makes sense. Spend to close ratio. Appreciate you guys for taking your time out of the day to watch this. I'll be back on a different day with getting a little bit more tactical into some of these things. But guys, after they become customers, there's a whole journey outside of that. Now we have to talk about fulfillment, retention, upselling, cross-selling, lifetime value, building your team, scaling your team, in all of the different ways that we can get people into these funnels outside of leads. It's a whole business journey, but once you have it dialed in, guys, it's a really, really cool place to be in. So appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.